It's time again. This is Mutiny Motorsports. Welcome everyone. Season 10. We have a stonking race coming up for you. And first of all, let's introduce the commentary team. I'm Alex, and alongside me in the box today, I have Nate and Anthony. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is it. We are in round 4. This is officially past the halfway mark now. We're in the Nurburgring. We've got a lot of excitement coming up for you today over in Germany. Go take a look at the track. So here we go. Lap record 128.3. Peter in the V10 Gen 2. So, older car. Do we think we can beat that this weekend? Let's find out. And the previous winners, TTR and Peter, the two, well, let's just call them rivals at the moment. Let's go into qualifying.
It was a little bit of a smaller grid today. Only had 8 drivers showing up. Peter putting it on pole, kind of no surprise there. TTR right on his heels, just 2.5 tenths back, followed by Shattered Compass, Asmoon Alex, Stupid Doobie in 5th, Garrett O'Brien in 6th, Springflower in 7th, and Debug bringing up the rear in 8th. So with a grid this small, there's points on the table for everyone, and there's a lot of points on the table with everybody scoring points and down to 8th, picking up some good points. So we'll have to see what happens today.
Yeah, Peter's 129.4, not quite world record worthy track record. And here we are looking at Peter off the line. He's got a pretty good start, and so is Shattered Compass. Peter squeezing TTR down the inside. Oh, I think they touch. Peter has a little wiggle. They go super wide. Where is Peter?
I think he's locked up, might have gone deep.
That's my race done.
Oh, he's into the wall.
I can't get out, I'm stuck. Oh!
He's in the gravel. He's stuck. He maybe gets it out with that little whoop there, and that is Shattered Compass. And the stewards are already investigating the love tap there from TTR. But Shattered Compass hunting down TTR. Arsmoon still within a second. It is only the first few corners. They are pretty tight, this whole field. And Stupid Doobie in 5th.
Garrett O'Brien taking advantage of that, up from 6th to 4th in the first lap here. So, taking advantage of that first one, turn 1 chaos, and up into just off the edge of the podium.
There we go. And here we go. At the back, it is Debug. Round the outside of Stupid Doobie. They're side by side as they go through into the Schumacher S's. Oh, not quite. Not quite today, Debug. You'll have another chance, though, if you stay within a close proximity. DRS is not quite open yet.
Just to note in the background, Peter is moving again. He's just come through the S's now into the chicane coming onto the back straight.
Yeah, 20 seconds back. That's going to be a bit of a gap for Peter, but if anyone can do it, Peter can.
Replay here, you can see just squeezes. Seems like maybe TTR gets a little bit of that grass, just loses traction, and just the worst, you just slow understeer into the wall across the gravel there.
Look how much time it's taking him to get out. That's where he thought he was stuck in the gravel. And reverse gear finds its way, and he just manages to get it started. I'm surprised he wasn't using the reset button there. Here we are on board with TTR on the grass. I feel like they broke probably too close to each other. That was it.
Certainly an unfortunate start for Peter, but we'll see if he can make up that time through the rest of the race.
Yeah, it looks like he's in the pits at the moment as we speak. His time is dropping from 20 seconds back down, almost a minute now behind the leaders, so that's well over half a lap. I'm guessing he had some repairs needed for that front wing when it touched the barrier there. Okay, lap 2, so they're almost coming up to the end. They're up the back straight here. Going through Hudson back. Up into the chicane right at the end of the lap before the final hairpin. And this is the order as we close off lap 2. It's TTR ahead of Shattered Compass, ahead of Arsmoon, ahead of Garrett O'Brien, ahead of Debug, who's got ahead of Stupid Doobie, and then Peter down in 7th, almost a lap behind. You can see him on the map there, number 7. just coming out of the pits in front of TTR, and there is no further investigation on that steward's investigation.
Yeah, and obviously, Peter Fan's not going to be happy with that, but I think that's pretty consistent with stewards' rulings in this league. They're generally tend to be a little more lenient in turn one. Shattered with a spin! Another unforced error from the captain.
Oh, not Shattered season. What is going on? But uses the reset button, and you see how quickly that turned him around. What a great feature there for in AMS2 to have that. And the overheating tires not helping him. As he falls to second to last, penultimate place.
Doobie here in P5. So I'll be interested to see here with, this race was kind of on the edge for a 2-stop or a 1-stop. I know in previous season there was a mix of strategies when we raced in cars similar to these, but I don't know if Peter will be able to catch up. I'm going to be interested to watch his lap time and just see how he compares to these front runners.
At the moment, he's just ahead of TTR, maybe extended it a fraction. Let's see what his lap time is. Well, last time he was pretty much, you can't see until he crosses the line. What is it? 140, so he's just getting up to speed on those tires. The leaders are in a 136, 137 kind of range. And the gap's already starting to build. 3 seconds from TTR to Arsmoon. So another 3 seconds to Garrett O'Brien. And Debug a couple of seconds behind that, and then Stupidoobie close on the tail, and Shattered Compass still trying to recover. Another 4 seconds back.
McLaren's looking good here, 2-3. I mean, they've kind of ran away in the constructors. It seems like the other teams, the strong drivers, they've had one driver scoring points and not consistently both up in the podium places. So they're looking for another great haul of points here today.
Yeah. They are really giving it the beans in the constructors, and that is helped, definitely by strong performances. And you got to say, not unsurprising, Garrett was on form towards the end of last season in the F3 cars. And then
I have been hearing some rumours that maybe their team engineer has been helping them quite a bit through this season so far.
They got another person helping them with the old setups, race strategies. An extra set of eyes does not hurt when it comes to those types of things. You see Stupidoobie on the back of Debug. Just losing a bit of time in the hairpin. Can he get a better exit? On board with him. Not using the full width of the track. Deciding to stay a little bit tighter than Debug. DRS open. Down the inside. Breaks a bit. Lane goes wide. Oh. Stupidoobie, that's not how you do it.
It's a tricky braking zone. Track falling away from you, easy to lock up, easy to run deep. Just, I think a little bit overambitious there. Probably tried to pick the same braking point as he would have when he didn't have DRS open. He's going another 10, 15, 20 kilometers an hour quicker and just kind of sails on past the apex there.
And that's right. These guys have been practicing, like we saw in Silverstone. Guys have been practicing with the DRS probably alone most of the time. Maybe with some AI, and you might take risks if you're practicing with the AI, but here in the race when it all matters, you cannot be making mistakes like that. That is costly, and that has just cost him a position, though I have actually seen Debug fall down the order. What has happened there? Debug down into 6. Stupidoobie and Shattered Compass have got through. A bit of a moment there. Shattered Compass looks like he's back on top of the car. Back on top of that tyre temperature. That has been a feature for this season, is keeping the tyres in the right operating window.
Seems like Shatter can maybe use some of that McLaren engineering that Anthony was referring to earlier.
So Anthony, what do we think about this track? What are the drivers looking for in a setup around this track? We've got lots of like cambers and rolling hills and crests and tight turns, fast corners, slow corners. How are the drivers looking to balance the car here?
Certainly. They're most likely hoping for maybe a bit of a more stiffer setup, just to help with some of those camber changes. Got to be careful with the curbs around here though, with a stiffer setup. Certainly don't want to get all over them wrong and lose the rear end. Aero-wise, it's probably going to be a bit of a mix. You've got a fair amount of straights on this circuit, but also some medium speed corners, so certainly going to need that downforce through them.
That's about right. As we go on board, looking at Debug and see how he lost those 2 positions. So he's coming out of the forward curve. He's coming down towards the hairpin at the bottom of the track. Oh, it looks like he just brakes a little bit late, goes a little bit wide, and almost does what Peter does and just understeers off into the wall once you lose all traction off the tarmac. Oh, Debug, you've got to stay on the black stuff, buddy.
Good work to keep it out of the wall there.
It's like he got out of that camber through that corner, just threw him off the circuit.
Board with TTR 136.9. He's got a healthy lead now, it looks like. Ahead of Arsmoon, 8 seconds, comfortably about a second a lap ahead. And then Arsmoon still gaining a little bit from Garrett. Well, actually losing. He was about 3 seconds before, and now it's about 2. So Garrett keeping him honest there. And in fact, if you look at the lap times of the whole field, it's just Debug who struggled on that last lap after going off. Or those last laps, sorry, when he's going off. So he's probably still getting the dirt off his tires. All in the 38s, maybe just into the 37s. And it's just Peter and TTR up there in the 36s. But Peter, 36.2. Almost 2 seconds a lap quicker than the field. What could have been?
And looking to be about half a second faster than Tita as well. It certainly looks like he could be catching up towards the end of this race.
Yeah, look on
spin for Arsmoon.
Arsmoon, those were the curbs you were talking about.
Just about takes out his teammate as well.
Oh, just got high up on the curb, it looked like there, and just lost the back ends. Not as compliant over the curb. Garrett there, like, yep, thank you very much. P2, I will take that. Stupidoobie inherits 3rd place. Arsmoon losing 2 spots in that one mistake. It's costly, but he's got the speed to recover.
Arsmoon not too far behind Stupidoobie either. He could take this back quite easily, and I think he's going to.
Yeah, look at that straight line advantage with the DRS. Can he hold it under braking? Brakes nice and early. Follows the racing line. Does not give Stupidoobie a place there to go. And that is how you do it. Stupidoobie could learn a thing or two from his adventure a few laps back. Oh.
It almost sounded like he missed a shift there. Obviously, these cars have, automatic shifting, but it sounded like he ran the RPMs really high there. I don't know if that was maybe just a little bit of glitch in the sound, but it seemed like, maybe spun the tires or locked the rear tires, or just an odd sound there coming from the engine.
Yeah, I wonder if he accidentally pulled the clutch or something to just have the engine rev like that. Here we go. Now 12-second gap. TTR leading this. Oh, Peter into the 135s. We've seen drives like this before, where a driver from the front falls back and then just gets an absolute monster lap time set in them from the rage that they have to do.
And Peter is on the same tires as everyone else. Everyone is on mediums, so that is, granted, he'd have it about a lap newer due to having to pit, but I mean, he's pretty much on the same tires as everyone else here, and he's absolutely demolishing the field in terms of pace.
Yeah, I wonder if
Absolutely. He's got that free air as well, that mindset of the mistake at the beginning, wanting to catch up to the back of the pack.
that is exactly it. You got that. And as long as you don't overdrive it, you'll find time. And we know Peter is very good at finding time and not overdriving. Such a clear, calm head on Peter. There might be a bit of small red mist there from the tap from his rival. So here we
Shattered
go.
compass coming up on the back of the pack here after some early misadventures, trying to recover.
Yeah. So he was ahead of Debug. He followed in Debug's mistake there. So he might have gone off again. Is that right? No, he's just behind Debug again, back in P6. So
Further up, Garrett O'Brien's found himself a nice pocket of air. He's got about 4 seconds in front of his teammate, 15 seconds up the road to TTR. You got to wonder if those McLarens, they've got some good space. They might just be saving their tires as Shattered. Maybe looking to make a move here on Debug. Goes to the outside, and he's around.
He did not need much more invitation than that. I think that was pretty lenient from Debug there. Didn't want to get involved. Defended heavily to the inside. I don't think that's the best line there to defend. If it was me, I would have squeezed the other driver right up to the edge of the track, stayed right in the middle of the track. It makes it so much harder for them under braking. They're not sure when you're going to brake. They're not sure how powerful you're going to slam on the brakes. It's just, you put a little bit of uncertainty in their mind, and Debug just making it a little too easy there, in my opinion.
I do wonder if, rather than trying to defend that, he let that happen, said, I'll let you go, and I'll try and follow you and use you to catch up to everyone else.
Clever.
That is a really valid strategy. I know in the final race of season 9, I actually think it was Dave and Orange actually communicated over the radio, for different teams, but in the sprint they said, hey, we're not gonna fight, let's make our way up to the field, and they actually ended up finishing 1-2. So sometimes you'd actually be faster following a quicker driver than you are defending them.
Yeah, and it's a totally valid strategy that, as you say, brings you time. You're not hassling. You don't have to worry about braking later and defending and moving off the ideal line. Here we go. Shattered Compass found his pace again. Right on the back of Stupid Doobie. I don't think Debug is keeping up. Oh, Shattered Compass shutting the DRS for the curve there and then reopening it, giving himself just a little bit of leeway there. We saw what happened to him in Silverstone. Move done.
A little bit of, I think, DRS fear, DRS anxiety, you might say there from Silverstone for Shattered there. He's like, I'm not turning with this thing open. So closes it, gets the grip to the corner, opens it back up, passed out.
Yeah, and it might work for Debug as well. Down the inside, brakes. What a move, holds the racing line. Stupid Doobie has learned from this. Trying to hold it around the outside does not work. There is no grip out there. But he tried. Looks like Stupid Doobie's getting some crazy understeer in that car. I wonder if the fronts are starting to overheat or go.
In that stadium section, once you get offline, it's just, frankly, it's one of the most clunky 3 or 4 corners, I think, in a row on any circuit in the world. And so we'll see if he's got some overheating. He does look like he's oversteering a little bit even here into the hairpin. So maybe we'll be seeing him pit shortly here.
Here we go. Ending lap 11. TTR still up ahead. Still about a second faster than the field, but not faster than Peter, who's 2 seconds a lap quicker. Wow, 1.5 seconds a lap quicker than TTR on the last lap. That is some extreme pace. But at 1 minute and 20, that is a long way to catch up, even at that speed. You see the McLaren boys, 2 and 3. Asmoon starting to make a little bit of headroom there. 138.1 to Garrett's 138.9. Just starting to catch him back up. You can see him off just in the distance there. Garrett O'Brien's starting to see his teammate behind him.
And we do see Stupid Doobie into the pits. So he definitely had spent his soft or medium tires there. So got to come in and throw in a new set of tires.
Here we are on board with Asmoon. Coming through and then back on board with Shattered. He's got to chase Asmoon. He hasn't got the lap time in him right now to do it.
Interestingly, Stupid Doobie has chosen to go to the hards, so I wonder if this is just trying to run to the end of the race. Maybe didn't like the mediums, felt like they maybe burnt off too quickly, so that'll be an interesting one to watch.
You gotta look. Let's look at the weather in the top left-hand side. You can see it's light cloud. There's almost no wind at all. It's dry, but look how hot it is. That has been a theme for this season. 35 degrees air temperature, 45 degrees Celsius for the track temperature. These tires do not like that. One iota. What are some of the things they can do, Nate and Anthony, to keep the tires cool in this race?
Well, certainly some clean air would help massively, but also just not using the tyres, not turning as much, getting on throttle a lot softer than you probably want to.
Yeah, just, trying to think through the lap, where are the high-speed corners? Where is it that maybe I can just take that, 5 miles an hour off of my cornering speed? Can I, even at a corner like this, the hairpin, can I make more of a diamond shape and sort of a long arcing shape to try to just reduce the energy that's going through that rubber? I mean, as much as you're moving that rubber across the track, it's degrading every single time you're moving it. So you want to just do the softest inputs in your wheel. So you can see here, TTR chooses to go wide instead of locking up there. I mean, probably protecting his tires.
Yeah, that is great points there, because every time you turn the wheel, you scrub the tires, generates a fraction more heat. There we go. Garrett O'Brien taking the same wide line in, but this time staying on the track ahead, unlike TTR, and right behind him now, just about a second and a half, is his teammate. I've got to wonder if he's going to give the position up without too much fight, or whether he's thinking, I've taken all my thunder this season. I don't want you to take my thunder anymore. This is race on right now. Whoa, as he gets a little bit of a tank slapper, and he goes into the pits. No fight needed. Team called it off. I wonder if this was part of their strategy. Lap 14.
And it looks like the McLaren team also have hards laid out for Garrett. So potentially a one stop there. We're about halfway through the race, so he could probably take those all the way to the end.
Good strategy. Is what you're looking for, and he comes out in 4th place. Quite the gap behind him to 5th place, who is Stupid Doobie, and you can see him in the track map just coming through the final, just entering the final hairpin now. And back out onto the main straight, so the field's super spread out. There's such a small field of 7 cars. There really is space to find clean air. The problem with that is close to the guy in front of you, and that is not where you want to be.
Certainly, with the field spread out this much, it's good that you've got fresh air, but you've also got to remember everyone else has that fresh air too.
Peter really continuing to light up the timing screens. Another lap that's a second half quicker than our leader. Asmoon, though, pulling up just a couple tenths slower. We'll see as they reset as they cross the line. TTR 137.0. Watch see where Asmoon is when he crosses the line. But TTR with a great lead here, just really managing, no pressure, hitting his marks, managing his tires.
Yeah, you got to wonder what the pace could have been had they not had that tap. I think, looking at the lap times, I think Peter would have disappeared a little bit. You don't know what TTR's holding back here. just in terms of lap time every lap. Because, yeah, as you're saying, he's got second a lap on the field, more than a second a lap, really, when you look at the gap to Asmun. And so, could just be managing.
Interested to see here with Shattered and Garrett. I mean, pit stop adds about 20 seconds to your lap, so Shattered's probably going to come out 10 seconds behind Garrett looking at the gaps here, but I could see that being a fight before this is all said and done. If Shattered can keep that car under him, his pace was exceptional and continues to be exceptional here as he manages his tires.
Yeah. Right in the pace where it should be, right in the place where it should be. Let's run through the order. That's TTR ahead of Asmun. Asmun again, he's the championship leader going into this race, which is quite the thing when you really think he showed those glimmers way back. Was it season 8, I believe?
Yeah, season 8 ran into some bad luck with, equipment failures, computer black screening, but so far I think he's figured out those bugs and he's had great, reliability, as we might say in sim racing this season. So
we have seen this is the reason why the Mutiny do not run. Whoa, his Shattered Compass decides to put his foot down and instead of heating up the tires, presses the reset button again. Oh, Shattered. Something about this car is unpredictable to him. It is uncharacteristic. This season we've seen it a lot. And that has not helped his fight with Garrett, who's now right on his tail.
And we even, with Shattered a little bit, we saw that last season, just some inconsistencies, some self-inflicted errors. We'll have to see if he can get this car underneath him or if he can, just wait till next season and get a reset with a new car.
Yeah, the outstanding thing from my mind last season was the amount of incidents he got into with Orange. Their sort of mid-season rivalry of just tangling and just destroying each other's points tallies in the drivers in the Constructors' Championship. Just see Garrett getting the back just a little bit excited as he comes out the hairpin through Schumacher S's. He's got him in his sight, about a second ahead. Braking, look at you, the use of the track there, right to the edge of the green painted tarmac.
And you've got to think that Garrett is laser focused on Shattered now. He wants to get as close as he can to him to make that pass as soon as possible.
Yeah, don't waste time behind someone. They will only slow you down. And he's in the 37s as, the heavens open up. He has to thank the heavens there for for Shattered Compass saying, that is enough, my tires have suffered enough. I'm coming into the pits and just magic free air. And now he can really look at the gap in front because, his pace is right up there with Asmun and they're right ahead of TTR right now. They're actually faster than the leader.
Critically, Garrett got the DRS, so he was close enough to be close to Shattered through that detection zone, so gets the DRS, gets the clean air, and as you said, in this fight with Asmun, that is neck and neck now, looking at the pit delta of about 20 seconds. That is going to be a fight till the end here.
Let's do it, and let's see Peter. So Peter up into 5th is now back into the groove. He did go into mediums, he didn't go into the hard, so he's likely to stop again. It was only a lap or so that he stopped initially. So as TTR goes into the pits,
Beautiful, Shattered.
and a bit of camaraderie there for a move from Shattered Compass against Debug there. So we see how much of the curb Shattered Compass is happy to use there. Using all the track is really one of those things that once you get in sim racing, you understand it's just free time every single lap. Like, oh, that is just an extra tenth around this whole, section of corners. Just because I went from edge to edge of the track. Not steering too much. Braking just enough to carry the speed around the corner. As we see, TTR's come out of the pits, and he's about a second behind of Asmoon. Still yet to pit. As we said, his fight is with Garrett, really. Let's see how TTR plays this. It's a long game. Championship is all Asmoon's at the moment, and TTR looking to recover back from a pretty torrid start from the season, really. Disconnection and then a collision in the first 2 rounds have really hampered his championship chances.
Able to pick up a second last time out in Silverstone, which is by far his best result of the season. And my guess is he's going to take the DRS here. Asmoon probably not going to fight this one hard. You have to imagine Asmoon's coming in the pits sooner than later. He's going to squeeze him a little bit. Doesn't want to make it too easy on him.
He doesn't, and that was it. Nice and cleanly through. You've got to imagine the grip of those new tyres. Yeah, as Asmoon heads into the pits there. He didn't want to make it hard. Just hard enough to make TTR have to think there, but not enough to risk any points in this championship.
So that fight between Garrett and Asmoon, Garrett is into the final chicane now, as Asmoon is reaching his pit box. So keep an eye on that track map. We'll have to see where they come out.
It's just stopped now as Garrett comes out of the final corner. You've got to think Garrett's got all the speed in the world, but it's such a small pit exit for Asmoon. Garrett takes it. And that was actually quite a lot longer for Asmoon than I anticipated. Lost 4 seconds, but he's still got to get his tyres up to temperature.
Interestingly here, Asmoon onto the softs. So softs is Stupid Doobie on the hards, Garrett on the hards, and TTR on the softs currently, and Shattered on the hards. So he may have some great pace there. He was able to extend that medium stint a little longer. See how that serves him in these closing stages.
See, Garrett getting the rear tyres excited just a little bit on those hards. Those hards will afford him a little bit more temperature headroom. Can get the tyres slightly hotter and they'll still stay in their working temperature just a little bit more. So see him, look at that consistency with that lap. With the entry point into those curves, into turn 11 there in turn 12, using all of the entry curbs there. Asmoon then again, all of the exit curbs. This is where they're finding that little bit of pace.
So who do you like, Anthony? Got Asmoon on the softs, new softs, Garrett on a little bit of used hards. Who do you think is going to prevail here?
I think I'm going to have to give it to Asmoon. He's proven this season that he's quick on those softs. I think that about 4 seconds now between the two of them, I think he can catch up to Garrett. We could see a battle between them in not too many laps, I don't think.
So it's going to hot up on lap 20 right now. It's going to hot up between the McLaren boys. As we see Shattered Compass, 5th place. A couple of spins have really sort of devastated his race. Where he could have been. His pace is right on with, TTR right now in the 135s. There's great pace. Let's go through lap 20. We've got TTR, head of Garrett, head of Asmoon, who we think the battle is going to start coming towards. We've got Stupid Doobie in 4th place, Shattered in 5th. What could have been Shattered, Debug up in 6th, and Peter, you can see, I think he must have pitted again because he's suddenly back in 7th place. And he's just set a 136.9, so I think he's just getting those tyres up to temperature. Let's see what pace he can unleash here. Peter is renowned for just getting out of the pits and, like a metronome, hitting his marks, knowing exactly where the braking points are, not even having to, have a lap or two to think about it, straight up to pace.
As they cross the line, Garrett with a 136. Aspen with a 135.1, so it is on. That's a 1.5 seconds quicker.
You got to think
Yeah, now
Aspen's
down to about 2 seconds.
He's got to nurse those tires just a little bit more though than Garrett. Garrett, I feel like, can just give them a little bit more. He may not be as quick in like true pace, but with it being 47 degrees on the track now, Asmoon has to be doing some managing. There has to be some point there. As we say that, TTR set a 134.0. And Shattered Compass with a 134.4, and Peter with a 132.3. That's where those tires can go. So Asmoon definitely just bringing them in nice and gently right now. Here we go, Garrett again. Trying to just make that corner as consistent as possible, and he's going to need it because his teammate is right behind him. He's got DRS. We didn't get to see if he closed the DRS though, and look at the speed differential as he comes up behind. Thinks better than a dive. And it's all these points here, the braking, the turning.
See how difficult Garrett makes it down this front straight. He knows Aspen's in the champion. He pulls. I think he moves over. I think he's letting him by. No, he's not.
Or was he trying to get out? Was he trying to get his teammate not to give him the slipstream? I don't think so. That looked a little bit too easy. But Garrett's just got to keep it on the smooth stuff. Keeping facing the right way. And he can have another opportunity.
Looked like a little bit of indecision there. Go ahead, Anthony.
That's got to be a comment from the pit wall there. Asmoon being the championship leader at the moment, telling Garrett to not fight as hard as he probably wants to, just to keep the team at the top of the standings and Asmoon where they want him really in the standings.
Yeah, you got to think it's 18 points versus 15, I believe, for second versus third place. So, yeah, it's every point matters, and especially if your championship rival Peter is down in 6th place. You got to think, hey man, just give me the point, please. I'll make it up to you at some point. But honestly, did Garrett even have it in him? 134.6 versus a 137. I don't know if those hard tires can even do that sort of pace.
Yeah, I think even without the team orders there, I think it would only been a matter of time, especially through the big traction. I mean, especially that final turn of that huge traction zone into the front straight, and then the DRS. I mean, if your opponent has softer tires and is coming up behind you, you're pretty much dead to rights.
So let's look at Shattered Compass. 135.4 was the last lap. He's catching up to Stupid Doobie in front of him. What's his time this lap? 135.3. It's braking nice and gently, hitting his marks, staying within track bounds. That looks like a really tidy line to me. Stupid Doobie just a little bit wide of the apex, not troubling the other apex too much either. Does use all of the exit curb, which is where you need in that traction zone. Straighten out the car as you exit turn 4 into the kink of 5. Just to give yourself just the rear tires a little less work to do. Come down into the hairpin. This is where the main battle is right now. Shattered Compass about a second a lap faster as you go back on board with Garrett, and the gap is opening up. 4 seconds now. I don't think there's anything you can do. He can just bring this home in third though. That would be a stupendous result.
Certainly, he's got to be thinking about the team game now. Bring home as many points as he can for the team.
Exactly.
This would be podiums 5 and 6 on the year for McLaren, so they have been absolutely dominant, consistently scoring points, consistently at the sharp end of the grid. I think, we've seen a lot of drivers kind of falter this season, and I feel like they've kept their noses clean. They've kept it on the dark stuff, and they're raking in the points.
And we saw that was what helped in season 9. Took TTR a while to learn that, but we did see it. The guys that just kept their noses clean, kept the cars pointing the right way, and just creeping their way through all the mistakes, and not making too many of them, were the guys that were consistently up front. It's the simple thing. You don't have to be fastest. You can just be the cleanest and have decent pace. And it works. It works for the championship game.
Shattered just a couple seconds back here, Stupid Doobie, so, comparing their pace, probably about one more lap, and then he'll be in DRS. So, if he can keep it clean, which I'm sure right now he's had multiple spins, he's probably just like, hit your marks, hit your marks, hit your marks, staying concentrated on those braking points. So you can see he's not pushing it too hard out on the edge of the track. He's staying away from the curbs, trying to be conservative.
Yeah, and that's costing him a little bit of time. Still happy to use that exit curb, though. See, I don't think he's in DRS range here. No, 1.6, so got a little bit of extra grip.
And lurking in the background, Peter, with blistering pace. He's going to show up on the scene of this battle pretty soon here.
Yeah, you've got to think Peter's kept his head so clean, and only now has TTR kind of found a similar pace enough that Peter has found since pretty much getting onto those tires. So just shows again what Peter could have done. I feel like the peak lap times between Peter and TTR aren't that different ultimately, but it's just the consistency. Peter is a machine. Going off and taking off season 9, missing the F3 season, doing some endurance racing. It's just made this driver 10 times stronger.
As we look at the timings between Peter and Shattered, it's a consistent about 2.5 seconds a lap Peter's taking out of Shattered, as he's within DRS range already.
Where do we think he's finding that time? So what's he doing? He's taking the wider lines. He's just braking later, accelerating earlier?
Certainly, I think the soft tyres that he's on as well are certainly playing a big role in that.
Yeah, you can see him there, a bit more confident to use more of the track. There we go. DRS open. It's a double DRS here. We've got Shattered Compass in Stupid Doobie's DRS. He's thinking about it. Not trying to risk it. These guys are really close together now.
A good defensive line there from Stupid Doobie, just kind of blocking the middle of the track. But, oh man, it's going to be 3 wide here. I think Peter around the outside. He's going to get DRS as is Shattered. They're both going to be on the curves button, and it's Peter to the front.
Wow, what traction off the line. DRS open for both of them. Closing it. Oh, they full crashed.
Sorry about that, I locked up.
Oh, Stupid Doobie locked up. And all 3 of them have kind of suffered a little bit there. Oh, Peter, they're off there. Shattered Compass. Oh, Peter's missing part of his rear wing. Oh. And the stewards are investigating it as Peter cannot keep it, the downforce. There is no top element to that rear wing. That has got to be impossible around that part of the track. Even debugging involved in the party now. Oh no!
I'm slightly back.
I think that was a little love tap there. Just debug had to take avoiding action. And look at all that pace go. Oh, Stupid Doobie.
Ferrari, no rear wing on that Ferrari.
Yeah, he's got to be having it even worse than PT, and the suspension looks mangled. Okay, so this has worked out for the front runners. They're going to run away with this, but now the fight for 4th onwards is absolutely on. TTR with 40 seconds on second place Arsemoon. I don't know if that's going to be hurting Arsemoon. As TTR now is lapping. He's gone past Stupidoobie. So he's gone past 7th place. And Peter's just up ahead, who you've got to think is desperately waiting to get into the pit lane.
Oh.
As the sign bounces across the track, and TTR must have been looking in his mirrors because he completely missed the braking zone there for the last chicane. As Peter crabbing that car back in, now completely missing his rear wing. AMS2 showing sometimes the damage is not there, but it is there. Believe they do not have rear wings. Shattered one, the first one into the pit lane from that trio, so that's got to be advantage Shattered, unless his damage was more, but I don't think so. It's now battle of the pit crews.
Insult to injury there for Peter. You have to wonder if that damage just hurt him in the pit lane a little bit, speeding on the entrance. Got a good view of the crews here at work. Oh, nope, back to Asmoon on track.
Asmoon keeping the gap around that 42nd mark. 2 seconds a lap faster. We did see TTR go off the track, and Asmoon maybe had to take some avoiding action there as well, all down into the 36s. So pace kind of slow. I'm surprised there wasn't a safety car there, because that really could have brought this race into another league.
What do you reckon happened there, guys, into that turn one? I mean, it was a little bit out of the camera shot. It seems like maybe Stupidoobie locked up, went into the side of Peter, and then Shattered just collected it. I'm not entirely sure what happened there.
I'm not entirely sure either, as Garrett goes and laps Shattered Compass. So now only the top 4 on the same lap, and you've got to think, oh, and there we go. Speeding in the pit lane is pretty slam dunk. There we go. Insult to injury yet again, like we said. So I wonder if Debug's been lapped as well. A Shattered Compass unlapping himself there. Garrett does not want anything to do with that. With much fresher tyres. There's only a few laps left. There we go. Here's the replay. On board with Stupidoobie down into turn 1. Peter on the outside brakes. Oh! I think as it dipped away there, just lost all traction on the front wheels. Just went into the side of Peter. That caused chaos, and then there was nowhere Shattered can go. Let's see it from Shattered's point of view. Hesitant on the throttle as he comes out the last corner, because Peter was where he wanted to be. You can see the DRS deciding which way to go. Goes wide. Seems pretty respectable. Oh, they understeer into him.
It certainly seems that Shattered was just a passenger in all of that.
Yeah, Peter tried. Peter should know better. Oh, and the steward's decision, no further action on Stupidoobie. Just a racing incident. It's just an incident. So, racing incident there. I mean, Peter, that was the best he could hope for anyway. He was somewhere in the top 4 maybe before that. But he's now a whole minute behind.
Yeah, and I think to Anthony's point, I think, Shattered just came in there and his line was blocked with the apex all the way to the outside of the track, and he tried to turn in, and there were cars there. So, he managed to escape with the least amount of damage. So he's up in 5th. He'll probably be, I think he was hoping for 3rd, but take some solace in that.
Yeah, he will. And you got to think, I found it crazy Peter went on the outsides. That is a brave move down into that T1. I guess he was just trying to give as much space as possible. My conclusion there with Shattered is, why didn't he brake earlier? He saw where everyone was braking. He saw their trajectories, and yet he still broke later and went wide. Like, there was an inside clean there for him. I know Stupidoobie was parked on the apex there, but you could see he was never going to make that in a month of Sundays.
He certainly could have just been caught up in the action, not focusing too hard on the corner, focusing on what's going on around him, and just unfortunately led to that situation.
And to that point, I mean, Peter took a really aggressive move there, kind of to the outside, and visually as a driver, that can throw you off a little bit when you see the cars in front of you fighting, and though the Dodge goes right, the car goes where you're looking, and so it may have been he just was focused on the cars, not focused on the driving. And yeah, and honestly, just wrong place, wrong time is TTR crosses the finish line. That is your winner. So first win of the season for him.
Yeah, 40 seconds ahead. He's on his cooldown lap, and it is Arsmoon and Garrett, second and third. I don't think it's going to change. What have we got back here? It is really now. Debug looks like a solid fourth. Yeah, I think this is going to be the results unless there's a late spin. That is Peter, I think, just ahead of TTR there. So Peter's still got a whole nother lap. He was not spared. Or was he spared there? No, I still think he's going. No, he can't be. I think that's got to be Peter's race over. So they go side by side on the formation lap. That is it. Arsmoon in second, Garrett O'Brien in third. They cross the line. There we go. McLaren boys, what a celebration there. They got to be feeling pretty good. Maybe a little despondent about the pace, the lack of pace they had. They'll be going back to their race engineer with feedback.
I am sorry, Pizza, for that first corner.
All right, Team McLaren, another 2-3. Another 2-3.
Yo, good race, T-Tar. Congrats, T-Tar. Nice win.
This is a race to forget.
Oh, still a pretty fun race, even though it was not the cleanest.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
Debug there, bringing some joy back. And let's go through the results here. TTR picking up his first win of the season. And Arsmoon in second place, 40.7 seconds behind. Picked up 18 great points there for his championship. Garrett in third place, Debug in fourth. And then Shattered Compass gets fifth place. Peter in sixth with fastest lap. Not that it means points, but a 10-second penalty as well. It didn't affect his race there. And Stupidoobie in seventh place. We actually can't forget about Springflower, who didn't even join the race, got disconnected, had a moment, did not ready up in time.
So where does that leave us with the driver's standing? So Peter probably looking to take the top here if he had won, but with his misfortunes, Arsmoon retains first with 76 points, followed by Peter with 58. T-Tar really jumps up 49 points. So Garrett loses a position down in a fourth with 46, and then Nate Delta, Stupidoobie, Debug up 5 spots. Orange drops a spot to 8th, Shattered to 9th, Springflower 10th, John D 11th, Brauchen 12th. It goes on from there. And the constructors, obviously McLaren, as you can see, 6 podiums on the season, just 122 points way out in front. Peter has put that Lotus team on his back. He's gotten a little bit of support from his teammate Pulo, but most of the 68 points are his. They are neck and neck with the first mates. Captains with 42, Red Bull with 32, Williams with 32, Ferrari with 22, Force India with 8, Mercedes with second, and Caterham yet to score a point.
There we go. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Nürburgring. We will be back next time from all of us here in the Mutiny. Thank you so much for watching. If you feel like it, please give us a like and subscribe. It just really helps the channel grow so that we can give more of this content to more people around the world. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.